Hey guys, it's Bia here, and today we're back with another video. This is week 2 of my Come With Me to Uni series. Now, this week I'm actually going to be doing 3 topics because that's what we did at uni. But before that, this is my outfit for the day. It's, I don't know why I decided to, but I was going for a turquoise and white color mix, and not too much makeup because that was only for the first day, and now it's just mascara, and that's the end. Honestly, it's too much effort, guys. It's too much effort to be doing that. And also my breakfast was just jam on some toast, and I turned off my fishies. I don't know if I've ever told you guys how much I love these fish, and the passion I have for this a fish hobby. Like, I started this 2 years ago. I used to have fish long time ago, and then we didn't have fish again. I had turtles as well before, and this is like my little hobby. I just love that. To be honest, I get enjoyment of just watching them eat because they're just so cute. Like, you guys can see, look at them, they're so adorable. Oh my god, look at them swimming to the little foodies. Oh my god. Anyways, so yeah, that's just a little thing. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So basically, the first thing we're going to be doing today is understanding our behavior, our skills, our motivations, and how that affects us as entrepreneurs. The next thing we are going to be doing is negotiation, and the last thing is networking. So we actually covered 3 different topics. Now, by the way, don't judge me, like, I look really bad today. Sorry. But yeah, just a little thing. If you guys ever go to Holborn, I would really highly recommend for you guys to go to the museum. The British Museum is really big, has a lot of things inside. To be honest, you need more than 1 day to see the whole thing. Also, there's this Pret here. They have a little thing outside, like a sitting area, which is really nice because it's covered enough so there's no wind, which makes it really nice to sit there. And on a morning like this, I wish I had time to just enjoy and relax, but unfortunately I was almost late once again. So yeah, we started out with entrecomp, which is something we'll be covering later. At lunchtime, I went to Wasabi with my friend to get some food for her, but I already had gotten my food, which was the salmon and egg sandwich, which is my favorite from Pret. And then, as I said, in the afternoon, negotiation. Now, at this point, I was already tired because these long days, they suck the energy out of me, guys. I was just ready to sit down or maybe even go to sleep. But yeah. London can actually look very beautiful. When it's a rainy day, like most days, you don't really see it. But when the sun comes out, you can appreciate things much differently. For example, going by this canal, just the way the sun is touching, like, you can see the effect it's having on the leaves on the trees. And for me, it's just so gorgeous. Like, when you have the sun setting, oh, this is so beautiful. And also going through and just appreciating nature. I really love that as well. So you guys take a few minutes every day to just appreciate nature and what's around you. But anyways, back to our master plan. We're going to start with number 1, which is the entrecomp. Now, just a disclaimer, when I was recording this, which I will show you my frustration later, my phone decided to not die, but for some reason decided not to record the whole video. So parts of it, you will see that it's like as though I already wrote things down when actually I was thinking it was recording and it didn't record. So yeah, apologies for that. I'll have to figure out what's wrong with my phone. Maybe I'm running out of space, but So, entrecomp, which is the first thing we're doing, and also the title for this week is Transforming Your Ideas into Reality. So the 3 things we're doing this week all go into transforming the ideas into reality, because 1, it's about how you take action. 2 is about how you, so to make that action happen, negotiation. Is it a supplier? Is it someone that you're trying to sell to? There's always a point of negotiation there. And the last thing is networking, because that's how you meet new people, and that's how you can make connections to maybe someone who's important that will help you out in your journey. So yeah, Entrecomp. So as I'm writing down, it's made up of 3 things. So the capacity for someone to act upon these 3 things, it being social, cultural, or economical, will allow them to maybe find a gap in the market, maybe see something that is in a need for people, and that's how you start with your ideas. Now, from there, they kind of have a little diagram, and this is something that I will link in the bio, so you guys can have a look at it yourselves, because it's so long. Honestly, you could have a whole lesson just in this, because they didn't even explain this to us 100%. So each section that you have in this wheel that I will start drawing in a second can actually be subdivided, and then that subdivided again and again and again into more and more specific things within the wheel. So for example, in this one of the parts is ideas and opportunities, and then that can be subdivided into what they have put in as, for example, creativity, your vision, your values, your do you think in a sustainable way or not. And then obviously single part of what you're looking at, for example, sustainable, how is that going to affect society? Like we said, how is that going to affect where you're living? For example, financially, is it going to affect your business financially? Is it going to be more difficult for you to start your business because you want to make it more sustainable? Or is it going to make people want to buy more from your business because it's sustainable? Things like that. So each part has an effect on your business, has an effect on you, and has an effect on the grand scale of what's around you. So I think that's basically what this is about, and this is just me really trying to understand it, because I feel like it's a very difficult concept. They said this was created by the European Union, so probably a lot of people came into making this and came into getting this idea. Of course, if they made it, it means it has to be good and useful, but if you guys want to look into it, link is in the description. Next thing that we did, which I find very interesting, is behavior and personality. And this is the point where I realized that my camera did not record what I was writing. So I'm going to explain what I was actually writing for you guys. So here is a little scale. So at the top we have the behavior, which is the only thing that people can see. And then the next thing below it and the other thing below it, you have thinking preferences. So thinking, personality, morals, and so on. People can't really see that. It's only something that's on the inside. But all of these build up to the behavior. Now, the higher it goes on the scale is things that can be more changed. So the way you think can be changed, your personality can change more than, for example, your ethics, because that's something more ingrained from the beginning, from when you're young. So the lower part of this diagram is things that are more fixed, and the top is more changed or changeable. So then we had a lesson activity, which is the Melbourne Test, which I later got some results for, which I can tell you guys in another video if you want to, in which we had to fill in a whole long questionnaire, and it kind of basically showed us what our true, not personality is, but like how we think more, because it assesses it, and the answers that you give all kind of add up to conclusion about yourself and your skills, and also in what you lack. And this can help you figure out what is it that you need to work on as a person to develop yourself further. So this is all about developing yourself. And the next thing we were learning about is mental toughness. And apparently those who are more mentally tough, they have more resilience, they have more control over themselves and how they act, and they can persevere through more difficult situations than someone who's more sensitive. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, this is very important, because if you don't have this within yourself, you're going to struggle a lot to be able to achieve things, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So they divided this into 4 different categories. The first thing is life control and emotional control, which we can talk about all in a lot of detail. For example, the emotional control is kind of like how you react to certain situations that you can't control. For example, if something goes wrong, what do you do about it? The commitment, which is like basically how much and how badly do you want to achieve something? How much are you going to sacrifice to be able to achieve what you want? And lastly, something that I think is very, very important is your confidence, because if you have no confidence, you don't have enough belief in yourself that you're going to achieve anything, and that will stop you from doing a lot of things in life, it being entrepreneurial or it being in life in general. Someone who doesn't have confidence is much more likely to end up in a very depressed state. And that's something I have a lot of experience for people I know who don't have confidence in themselves, and then they eventually it's like they're a self-destruction machine. So you really need to work on your confidence. So you work a lot and you work very hard for yourself. Okay, but anyways, next thing is the theory of effectuation. I don't know why they use all of these complicated words, but anyways, it describes the future as something that you can influence by your actions, which makes a lot of sense. So if you don't take action to do something, you're never going to get anywhere. If you do, even if you fail, at least you've learned something. So the first thing, they called it bird in hand, which is you have to create solutions with the resources that you have, without you having to always go out and ask other people for more things, trying to do achieve what you want to what you have. Okay, next thing is affordable loss, where you should only invest as much money as you are willing to lose. You never invest money that you need to pay something with, because that's going to create stress and you're not going to be thinking logically, you're going to be thinking with your emotions. And then the next thing I would say, the crazy cult, I don't know why they have these names, is entering into new partnerships, doing collaborations and so on. They can always lead you to new things, new places, and taking you in directions that you may not expect, and that can actually be beneficial for you. Maybe things that you have not seen before. Everyone has different skills and different sets of knowledge, so meeting other people and learning from them is always useful to making you improve. And last but not least, you guys need to remember that mistakes can always happen and surprises also can happen, and they're inevitable. There's always things which are out of your control that you can never stop or change. And the best thing you can do is just react in a positive way so that you can develop instead of going backwards. Now, the next thing that we're doing is negotiation. So negotiation requires quite a few skills, which honestly myself is something that I know I need to learn, because I've never really practiced this very well myself. And this is important because if you want to gain something in life, like if you want to gain something from a deal you're doing with someone else without them kind of running over you and bullying you around, you need to be able to know how to communicate with them properly. So there's a few pointers here on negotiation. One is it requires good communication skills. It's about giving and taking, so meeting in the middle. And you need to be assertive enough to get something out of it for yourself, but you also need to empathize with the other person to understand what they're trying to take out of this negotiation that you're doing. You also need to consider the consequences of this deal that you're trying to do with them. How much power do you hold in this negotiation? Like, who's the one who can kind of push the other one around more, and what is the solution that you're both trying to get to? And another thing that they said is negotiation does not equal selling. Negotiation is when both are trying to agree to something. Okay, selling is this just you kind of pushing something onto someone else, like a customer. If someone Harrods or Selfridges is trying to sell something, they're just kind of trying to push the product onto the customer and trying to convince them that it's a good product. Okay. And then you need to also consider who you're negotiating with. So is it someone from a different culture? Do they have specific expectations of how you're going to act or what you're going to ask for? How do they behave? Because you don't want to accidentally insult them in any way or say something wrong. And especially if it's someone, like, for example, in a factory in a different country, they might have different ways of doing things, and you need to have a a slightly more deeper understanding before you go and speak to them, because you don't want to end up like screwing yourself over for not understanding how they are thinking. And lastly, how important are you to them? Like, are they more important to you, or are you more important to them in this situation? Meaning, who is the one who's trying to get more out of the other? Like, who really, really depends on this deal? Okay, so next thing is the stages of negotiation. So the first thing is preparing. So before you go into a meeting with someone, you always need to have a bullet points of things that you want to gain out of it. At what point are you going to not accept the deal because it doesn't benefit you at all? Gosh, I always sneeze. Anyways, so what information are they giving you? What is the discussion? How are you feeling about the deal that they're putting forward? What goals do you want to have for this meeting? And also the next thing that you're going to have is the bargaining. So the back and forth, the trying to get in, meet in the middle kind of situation. And last but not least is the closure implementation, which is the point at which you are going to be signing a contract, the point at which both of you have agreed. And this is the most important one, because this is when further action will start taking place. Now, before you do this, just a few things I need to think about. So questions to ask yourself. What do you want to gain from this? Is there a short-term goal or a long-term goal that you want to gain out of this? How long are you planning to do this deal with them? Do you have anything that they need and that you can use to kind of push them around? Also set targets, as I said. Make sure you're happy with what they have, what you're agreeing with, and at what point are you going to stop and say, no, this is not going to benefit me, I'm just going to end up losing, I'm not going to do anything with this person or this factory or this supplier or this person I'm selling to. Okay, and who are your competitors for the deal? Is there someone else that might be wanting to do the same deal with you? You never know. Now, something that you guys might have learned already, which I actually did in A-levels, which is SMART goals. So they need to be specific, they need to be measurable, as in it needs to have a sort of values and numbers that you can compare to. Is it attainable, as in, and realistic? Is it something that you can really actually achieve, or is it just a dream? And time bound. So basically give yourself a deadline, okay? And something very important, which is something day to day, which not only for negotiation but just general communication, is how are you going to speak to them? Make sure you smile, make sure you look them in the eyes. Eye contact is very important. Your posture, make sure you look confident and you don't look all sloppy, and don't get distracted, because that's very rude, okay? And then verbally, you can also demonstrate and get more, how can I say, make them feel more comfortable in your presence by being very interested in their part and what they want to gain, and show that you're really into this and it's not just them talking to a wall. So make sure that you get something that you're going to benefit of. Make sure that, as actually I already said this to you guys, just I kind of repeated this all over again. Just very importantly, don't let them bully you around. So when you're setting a deal with someone, make sure that you don't get bullied, because I have actually had someone sew something for me before. I did not have time to do it. I was doing it at uni, and I asked this lady to I was basically contracting her to make this jacket for me, or I gave her the drawings and everything, and I kind of just went with what she told me instead of negotiating, because this was the first time I was really outsourcing something from someone else, and I felt like she took advantage of the fact that I didn't know what I was doing, and I ended up paying more than I should have for what she did, which honestly, even the product I got in the end, it wasn't even that great. So something that I knew I could have done myself, now I know that if I'm trying to pay someone to do something for me, always push for what you want. And if you feel like it's not right, which I kind of did, but I did not know any other thing, anyone else to go to, and I kind of just settled for something that wasn't good, which is bad, and you should never do that to yourself. And then lastly is the final points, which is how are you going to close it off? How are you going to finish it? You need to kind of push them, give them that point in which they just agree, or basically try to finish the meeting in a good way and get everything that you want out of it, and not giving them much chance to think. So this is the end of this video. I had to cut it short because it's already on 20 minutes, and I still want to give you guys the last point from the lecture, but I will do it in a separate video, and it will be just about networking, just some very quick pointers on things that you can do to help yourself. And I'll make a separate video on that, simply to help you guys out and because I don't want to drag this on. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out my last video. Link will be in the cards and in the description. And the next video will also be in the description and in the card. Don't forget to leave a like, comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!